one of the things that became really clear to me was back in the old days when networks came around, it was always based on a sort of what was called a client server model. So there was always a big central box, and then they'd hook up to all the individual devices. And then the internet came along, and it kind of decentralized everything. And then very quickly, the magnetism sort of drew things back to big entities, sort of centralizing everything again. And now we're kind of in that weird place where there's just a handful of companies that really have control of everything, and everybody sort of has to hub and spoke into those. And so this whole notion of decentralizing the web really hits home with me because I sort of have lived through it already a couple of times. And this just feels to me like a continued, oscillation. I don't see it as any big revolution or anything. I do recognize that back in the 90s, there was a real, dream that we were going to have this world where everybody could be, do what they wanted and blah, blah, blah. And then that got quickly subsumed by, Google and Facebook and all of those guys. And I think we will get the pendulum swinging back the other way. But I still think that there are a lot of benefits to having sort of, the best of both worlds. I don't think you can have a complete freeway, right? For instance, we already know that because, like, undistributed storage is a perfect example. If you had the ability to have permissionless distributed storage where anything goes, you'd have a lot of illegality on that network. You'd have things like, pedophilia and child porn and stuff like that, that, is just really, really bad. And so at some point, then they would find ways to choke point it other ways. And I think that's why crypto gets kind of that kind of reputation, because those things tend to bubble up to the surface. And then all the great things that you can do don't always, get the same kind of level.